Hey, welcome back to another episode of the She.E.Os of the Six. This is the place on the internet where we celebrate powerhouse women making waves in the GTA and beyond. Today's episode is really close to my heart because I'm sitting down with someone who's played a major role in my own hairstyling journey. My mentor, my personal hairstylist, and truly one of the hardest working women I've gotten to know, Glam by Sammy. She's a head stylist at Oasis Salon and Spa in Brampton, Ontario, where she leads a full team of stylists and assistants, managing, mentoring, and doing it all with grace under tremendous pressure. Her hustle is unmatched. Her talent speaks for itself, and her dedication to her craft is next level. Whether you're in the beauty business or just love hearing stories about women turning their passion into power, this conversation is packed with inspiration, real talk about the salon environment, and some hair salon industry insights. But before we jump in, don't forget to subscribe. It's super minimal effort, but it really helps us support and uplift even more incredible women across the six and beyond. So every follow, every share, and review goes a very long way in building this empowering community. So let's dive in. Sammy, welcome to the show. So nice to have you. I've always been such a big admirer of you, and I think it's because I was considering making a pivot before the lockdown and everything happened. And I was like, oh, you know what? I want to start looking at what's in trend. And, you were actually recommended by, I think it was one of my bride's sisters. And I loved her hair. I loved it. I was like, wow, this is beautiful. And she's like, yeah, I went to Sammy. Yeah. And I was like, oh, show me share her Instagram. And that's sort of when I came across you. And I always saw you on your stories, and I think I'm a person that's gravitated to someone's personality. I can catch it really easily. I could tell that you're just very hardworking, very dedicated to your craft. You're kind of like a no nonsense person, and I love that trait in a person, because when I see too much flash, it just kind of puts me off. Like, you can be amazing at what you do, but then there's too much fluff happening. Right. And I know, and it works for some people.
Yeah, exactly.
But as I kind of got to know you, I think this is what happens when you're on Instagram, right? You start to follow certain people, and then you're like, oh, I can tell what this person's personality is like. And then fast forward to 2020, when I decided to, start learning my balayage, and I started to sharpen up my skills. I did a bunch of online courses, but I knew as soon as I would be ready to take an in-person class, I knew where to go. Right. And I wasn't sure if you were teaching at the time, but I'm like, you know what? It doesn't hurt to ask. Yeah. Let's give it a shot. And you had actually started at that point. Yeah. And so I felt very lucky that, I got a date right away. And I think my skill level just changed overnight. And I think that has a lot to do with you just, like I said, no nonsense. Yeah. You're not giving me textbook. You're giving me practical technique, right? Yeah. And then when we had our class together, it was like, you were just on point, laser focused. And I was like, yes, this is what I want.
Give me it.
Yeah.
Give me all of it.
And you didn't hold back, right? Yeah. And that's the sort of, I think, mentor most people really need in their life, especially in the beginning of this career. And kind of part of the reason I started doing this is A, to get out of my comfort zone, but B, I think we have some really amazing South Asian women in business today, and I think they just need to be brought to the forefront. People need to learn from their journey. Yeah. And so that's why I asked you to come on.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. Let's kind of get right into it. Well, what made you what made you pursue hairstyling to begin with?
Honestly, it was more so just a hobby when I first was in high school, middle school. It was always just oh, I'm gonna do my friend's hair, or I'm gonna do my mom's hair, or whatever, cousins and all that stuff. And I think it just kind of became my hobby turned into passion really fast. So from there is when I decided, okay, maybe I should go check out a hair school, just to see what is out there. Right. But when I was obviously I'm talking 10 years ago, or maybe even longer. I don't even remember when I went to, it was right after high school. There weren't a lot of young girls like myself in that time frame going to hair school, doing all those things, because
there weren't.
the pressure was, no, you got to become a nurse, or you got to become like a doctor, exactly, and all that stuff. Like it's just all that, right?
Yeah.
So it was a little bit hard because I didn't really have anyone else I could be like, okay, like she did it, maybe I could try it. So it was in that time, like in that aspect, it was a little bit difficult. But I think when I went to hair school and stuff, it was like, okay, like maybe this is my thing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try to like pursue it like as far as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you say like that aspect of it was one of your biggest challenges then, like convincing your parents?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Right?
I think that was like probably the biggest thing. Like it was never like me, okay, I don't understand it, or I don't get it, or it was never that. It was more so like, how am I going to tell my parents I don't want to do anything else and I want to only do this?
And
like,
they allowed me to do it as a hobby, but here I am like going in.
Honestly, like going into hair school, like my mom was still like, no. Like she's like, I don't understand why you're doing this.
Yeah.
So it was
like, why are you wasting your money?
Exactly. It was more so like my grandpa, he was just like, okay, you know what? If you really want to do this, fine. Like, go for it.
Grandparents are so helpful.
They just have a different like soft spot for their grandkids. So it was just,
they would have let their own children do it, but
oh my gosh,
for some reason, I think they've lived so much life that they've come to understand like you gotta let people just be in their skin, right?
Like I feel like I'm not like, had I maybe done anything else, like I probably would put like the same amount of effort, because that's just who I am as person. Like I'm not tweaking my own horn. Like I'm just saying, like I'm just
toot it. That's what we're here for.
Like you could give me anything. Like you could give me like any task. Like I'm just that person. Like I want to like make sure everything is good, and I do my best. I maybe could kind of come off like a little bit of a perfectionist and maybe a little people pleaser. Like over time, I'm not, like I've obviously like told myself, like, you know, maybe there are certain things that are not for you, or they're not supposed to be for you. Like it's okay to let it be. But like back then, like it was, I don't know, maybe it's just like me being the eldest in my family. Like it was just,
I was gonna say, you're one of three.
Yeah.
I'm the eldest of three. So that's probably where that comes from.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, no, like, you know what? Like I felt like my teachers pressured me, like, you know what? Like you're good at it. Like maybe you should just give it a shot. Like, you know, try further and all that stuff. So it just.
Did you have cosmetology in your high school?
In high school,
I did as well. That's where I realized I'm like, I love this.
Yeah. And like a lot of like my friends, like I knew how to like braid and stuff, like, and everyone would be like, how do you know how to braid? I'm like, it's not that I sit there and be like I want to teach myself this, but it was just like that certain things just came to me naturally. So I just wanted to kind of like, okay, like if I knew how to braid a normal braid, I'd be like, okay, like I want to know how to do a cornrow now. So I would always just try to like do things. And it just like I kind of kept polishing my skills, and I still feel like there are certain things that I'm not that good at. Like I could probably improve, but I feel like every day
those are.
That's okay. Every day you kind of improve on things, like anything. Like I'm saying in terms of like, let's say my balayage skills, like there's probably one certain things that I'm like, okay, like maybe I'm not painting as clean as I probably could, but that's also because of the time frame I have. Like maybe I'm like the painting a little bit faster, and where I'm like melting it a little bit, you know, just to fix my skill. So I'm not saying that like I'm perfect. Like that's not what I'm saying. Like when I say it comes to me naturally, I just feel like I could like look at something and I could pick it up really fast. Of course I need to polish it. Of course I need to like kind of make it my own. But like I think when it comes to that, like it's kind of easy and like
it just flows
for me to like just kind of like go about it.
I think I felt pretty similarly as well after cosmetology school. I remember I was the girl who wore a little bit of makeup to school, and at that time, this 2008. And 6, like nobody knew what makeup was. There's no Facebook.
I never wore makeup.
Right. And I remember the mean girls are like, oh, she like, you know, dips her face in a foundation. I'm like, so I love that. And then I took cosmetology, and then I was the first one to ever do hair extensions. I actually went and bought the glue and all of that. I like self-taught. at that point, it was like same story with parents. They were like, "Why do you want to do this?" But I was like, "I just
do something
really
else."
do.
Yeah,
I know I need to do something with my hands, and here we are.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things you kind of go against yourself if you fight it, right?
Oh, of course, yeah.
And I'm just glad that it worked out the way it did for you, because like you are one of the best artists, and like I will not trust anybody else with my hair but you. Literally, even
you.
just the way
I
it
really
grows
appreciate
out.
it. Thank you.
And I honestly tell my clients very openly, I'm like, she taught me.
Yeah.
Like, if you like my work, like
it's from there. Yeah. No, I really appreciate that.
She's
like,
my home.
That's what I live for. Like I want to like produce something that's long lasting, not just in the moment.
Yeah.
Looks good today and tomorrow you wash your hair. Like, wait, what just happened?
And the transition from like the day you leave the salon to kind of after, just knowing what what's going to happen to that color in 3 months, like that comes from a lot of experience and your knowledge, 100%. Right? So you are the head stylist at Oasis Salon and Spa. Love the facility, love everybody there, the staff, they're phenomenal. And I know you hire and you train a lot of other stylists.
Yeah.
So what is it that you look for when it comes to when you hire somebody? And the reason I'm also asking you this question, it's because what I find in hair school, you don't learn a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're from the dinosaur age. The entire time you spend almost $12,000-$15,000 and you're learning to perm.
Yeah.
And roller sets. Like nobody does that anymore, right? They may do it for like period style films and things like that, but you don't really utilize a lot of the skills. The second question that I had is, what do you look for then in the individual? Because they're coming from school with not a lot of skills. Like, are you looking for mainly that personality and that natural?
Yeah.
I don't want to answer for you.
Yeah, that's okay. No, that's exactly what I was going to say. Like when you go apply for a job, like for example, like in a corporate world, like there's a certain thing that they ask for. Okay, like I need you to be this. Mm-hmm. I can't really have someone come in and say, like, you told me you were a quick learner, because a lot of people think they're a quick learner, but it's what they produce when they watch you and do it, right? So it is hard to kind of like say like, okay, I want you, but I don't want you. So I kind of like to give everyone a chance. I'm being very, very honest. Like I've had multiple people come to the salon, and I always say, come in for a trial. Let me see how you work. And at that point, I'm still not like, okay, you don't know what you're doing, unless if they absolutely don't know what they're doing. Now, I am very straightforward. I don't beat around the bush. I don't go, okay, like it's okay. Like, no, if you don't know it, you don't know it. So when I went to hair school, of course, it was the same thing. They still taught us the same basic stuff that they probably teach today. I don't know how it is at this point.
But at that point,
I went to Body Pro.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, back then I felt like, okay, maybe this is what I need to know. Of course, there are certain things that, like, even let's say roller setting, it is very important to know
motor skills.
Exactly, because how do you part? How do you take a clean section? How do you make sure your sections are even? So it is very important that they teach you all that stuff. But they don't need to make you do it 30 times in order for you to learn it that well, because it is something that we don't use today. Rollers are coming back in style, but it's a whole different technique. So of course, if you know basic, you can again improvise and kind of like get to doing it yourself. But like if it comes to again like someone coming in from hair school, I like that someone's coming from hair school because their like ability to learn things is very fresh. So they don't have that break where they've like stopped and they, I don't know, worked on a computer for a while. Now they're coming back and they're like, okay, I want to do hair. So I do prefer someone coming out of hair school rather than someone who's
they were focused.
Exactly.
And is there an instance when you have hired somebody that goes through like just directly an apprenticeship program, or like that's not really in school, but they just want to get a job as an assistant to see if they like this?
I've had people like that, and that's where I kind of am hesitant. Like I do like look to see if, okay, like maybe even if you don't go to hair school, do you still know how to cut hair? Do you know how to hold scissors? Do you know how to hold scissors and comb at the same time? Like it is hard, but
Yeah.
like at that point I just kind of just say no. Like I prefer them to have some sort of like background, even if they've worked elsewhere, but they've done hair.
Right.
Only then I could say, okay, I'm gonna polish your skills, I'm gonna say this is right, this is wrong. But I can't do that to someone. Like I'm not gonna babysit you, I'm not gonna teach you from
start
scratch.
from scratch. It's
like
a lot.
and that's not my job, if that
You're
makes
also
sense, right?
running
And I'm also
an
working myself, so I
Exactly.
can't have that like baby behind the chair. Like
Right.
I can't do that.
Yeah, which is fair.
Which is sad. I wish I could, but if I had the time, or had I had a school, of course I would love to like take on all these people, because if you
Yeah.
want to pursue a career, 100%.
Yeah.
But it's not the same when I'm working myself.
You
and-
need at least
yeah.
some foundational skills in order to
100%.
get started.
Yeah.
What about if someone was, say, like very good at like makeup and styling, and you can see that that's their skill level? They haven't gone to hair school. They're really good with updo. Like they have the motor skills. Is that something
They can definitely, then I would definitely consider them being assistant. But then I feel like assisting is completely different from just styling and doing makeup.
Right.
So
It
that
really
like
is.
hair styling, like hair coloring assisting is a whole different like chapter. Like I feel like mixing color, the how to like apply the color properly.
Yeah.
Like it's not
That's why some salons
makeup,
just do
if that makes sense.
specialty.
Yeah.
Like they make you specialize in
Just
either
makeup.
color or
sorry,
either
yeah,
cutting,
coloring, right, yeah, exactly. But I also like that point being brought up. Like I feel like the whole you just cut hair and you just color hair, I feel like it could get boring at one point.
Yeah.
Like because what if like the colorist wants to cut hair once in a blue moon, or they want to
wanna
do their
start your
own
own
client.
business.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's tricky. Like I don't like obviously like if it works for someone, great.
Yeah.
But I feel like I prefer my stylist to know how to cut hair and know how to style hair properly. Like it shouldn't be like you know how to color hair and now you don't know how to
don't know what to do
style.
with
You
it.
don't know how to finish your job. Like that feels like incomplete to me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. And it's the reason I was asking this question is sometimes people that, start off as a hobby, as a, bridal or special event hair and makeup artist. And if they are like, oh, I want to, add more skills, like how do I go about it? Because hairstyling is not just something that you can train online. You have to go through a school. You have to get licensed, especially when you're working. It is a red seal trade, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons I, want to have this discussion, because believe it or not, I didn't know.
Oh, okay.
When I went to hair school, I just knew I wanted to learn all aspects of hair.
Right.
And I will decide later whether I want to be behind the
chair
behind
or
the
not.
chair,
Yeah.
or if I want to be doing bridal and all of that. My career took me towards the bridal end of it,
Right.
Because it was just like, okay, I'm just getting bookings left, right, and center,
Which is great,
And
yeah.
there's no reason for me to stick around and get paid what you do as an apprentice.
Right.
I finished my hours,
Right.
But
of course.
at that point, I kind of left. And then I realized so many years later, I want to come back, right? Because
It's not the same.
It's not the
and
same.
sometimes you just need a break.
I was exhausted, right?
Yeah.
Exhausted being on the road all the time. I was single and it was fine. I was on the road at like 2 a.m. and, my first bride is like 3 a.m. But it was after 2020 and getting married. I was like,
This
need
is
to
too
be
much.
stationary.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So then I had to like basically relearn everything
Because you gave yourself that gap.
it was
Exactly.
almost 10 years.
Yeah.
And then we had like balayage and all these things. And
That's I was gonna get to that. Yeah.
so have you seen, that was my next question
Yeah.
to you, have you seen the stages of like color and trends like change
Oh my
in
gosh.
the beginning of it? How would you
Dramatically.
say it's changed?
Like when I went to hair school, of course, balayage was still like a thing. Like it wasn't like that long ago.
It wasn't even a word when I went.
was.
That's how old I am.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, it was when I was in school. I remember bringing in my friends and family and saying, oh, I'm going to do a balayage on you. But really, I was just giving them a dip dye job.
Right.
Because we didn't know the difference, right? And then that's where it started. And everyone started saying, this is ombre, but you need to blend it in. And blending ombre was a mission.
It's such a
like it was
mission.
not. And what was ombre? And I kid you not, girls came to the salon with like their hair just from here down, just bleached blonde.
Kind of like those ombre extensions you get.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Oh, can you tone this?" And I'm like, "It'll still look ugly regardless."
Right.
I mean, again, it didn't look ugly to them. It looked ugly to me, but that's because I knew the difference.
Yeah.
And then,
would you use that word straight?
What?
This looks ugly.
you don't even know the stuff I say behind
I
the
feel
chair.
like you get
It's
away
so
with
funny.
it.
But I don't mean it like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
you're
I would never
ugly.
feel, no, I would never
I'm
feel
just
bad.
saying, girl, this looks ugly. Like, we need to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it like, oh, you're not gonna do. Like, if someone says, no, I like it, and I'm leaving your chair like this, it's fine. I'm not gonna say it's ugly.
Right.
But if we're fixing it, I'm gonna say, yeah, girl, this is ugly. Let's go fix it. Like, I'm not gonna hurt anyone's feelings. I mean, I really hope not. But
I just think
people get offended so easily. Yeah,
these days.
Exactly.
But I feel what I like in a person, I have that sort of, I like you to be a drill sergeant. I want you to, I like kind of like being just
like
told. I enjoy that personality so much. Like, you're just being so real.
I'm just very sarcastic. So I feel like these days, like, it's hard. Like, sometimes you could say something so sarcastically because I'm just like, I've always had people around me that were like that to me. And
same.
So it's like, it doesn't faze me. Like, if someone's being mean to me, I'll be mean to you because, but it's funny to us,
it's funny.
But then,
and it's more like, I think you like me because that's why you're doing
that's
it.
what I say to people. And I feel like sometimes I say things and I'm like, my client doesn't know the context of this conversation. And she's probably thinking, what in the world is this girl talking about? But it's literally like a joke. And I'm like turning a joke into another joke. Like, it's just, that's just how we are at work.
It's such a fun environment.
Yeah.
And I remember the one time, I think it was the first time I came in, someone who was working on my hair was terrified of me. I can't remember who, but like, they were just so scared. They're like, oh my God, she's also a hairstylist. And I'm just like,
I remember
that's even more of a reason to not be scared because
you understand.
I totally understand.
Right.
Like, my hair's not lifting.
But I feel like I get it. Like, you just kind of get like a little nervous because you're like, she already knows what's up. She already knows how I could lift
I can't bullshit her. No,
basically. Exactly. So I feel like I get that, I guess, nervousness and like,
the dilemma.
Yeah, but it's not.
But I think by the end of it, she was pretty comfortable. And she was fine. I was reassuring her. I'm like, listen, even if you turn my hair orange, it's okay. Like,
but we don't want you to leave with orange hair, right?
But more like,
I guess you were just
not
giving
the
her
end of the world. There is always a fix to it, right?
I agree,
and
that's what I say. That's exactly what I tell all my stylists or even my clients. I'm like, anything you do, there's always a fix to it. It might not be what you're envisioning, or it might not be like what you're thinking. Okay, if you're gonna fix it, it's gonna be like this. But there's always a fix. There'll
always be the better outcome.
Yeah, but there are people, I think when people are just stuck on one thing, that's when it gets difficult. Yeah.
That's when it gets very, very difficult.
Yeah.
And there are limitations. Like, sometimes, I may come into the salon and be like, today I want to be buttercream blonde.
Yeah.
You've worked on my hair. My hair doesn't lift past a 7.
Yeah.
Or an 8.
How would you be? Yeah.
Unless you fry my hair.
Yeah.
So I understand the limitations of it because I do this. But what about clients that don't? Like, how do you deal with that?
If I explain something to someone, I'll say, do you understand that? Did you understand that? And most of the time, my clients are like, and I'm like, okay, let me rephrase. Let me try to break it down so it's more simple for you to understand when I say you're not going past a level 7. So I bring my book and I go, look, this is your level. We're trying to get here. It has to lift almost like 5-6 levels in order for you to be the color you want to be. It's still difficult because I feel like they still can't imagine a lot of things because they don't imagine like us, because I guess just
we watch the process,
creative,
right?
It's different, so they don't know what oranges or what red oranges or what and orange and yellow is. Like, they don't understand all that stuff, right? Or sometimes like they'll look at their hair in the sink and they'll be like, it's pretty yellow, you can tone it, but it's like orange yellow, I can't tone that to the color you're asking for. But you're seeing something that's just bleached and there's still bleach on it, so it almost looks lighter. So lighter. Like, once I wash, it's gonna be even darker, or not darker, like it's gonna be a different color.
So
I try to like always explain my client in like little steps, and then when they say, okay, no, I didn't understand that, I'll like rephrase to the best way possible to make them understand that it's not gonna happen, or if it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, I want you to understand that we have to go darker, or we have to go and pick a different color based on your lift. And most of my clients, honestly,
they get it.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I don't want to jinx it. Like, I feel like
I
like a lot of my clients are very
last session with a couple of other people too, when we were discussing this. Most people are reasonable and they understand. But it's the one-offs. The one-offs drain you so much, where you are like, you know, reconsidering like your like life, your entire existence, right? And you're like, it's they shake you to that point because
you just want to strangle them.
Or you're just like, I don't understand how you think this way. Like, what made you think the way you are?
I agree.
Like the level of entitlement and all of that. So, you know, that's where it's a tough one for, I'm going to call them the younger generation. But
you'll be surprised. I don't think it's really the younger generation either. Like, I feel like it depends on your personality. Like, I feel I'm very upfront, very straightforward. I will tell you, like, nope, this is not, like, I'm never going to be like, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. Like, no, you
can't be like that as a hairstylist, right? Like, to be a successful colorist.
And I tell my girls that too. I'm like, sometimes you just have to say, I'm going to try my best, but there's no guarantee. Like, and when you use words like that, I feel like a lot of clients are already like in a position where they're like, okay, that's like basically a vocal agreement form at that point. Like,
I actually have an agreement form now. I need you to understand that this is just, it's no guarantee. And
I mean, that's good. You know, like obviously you're not working from a salon, and I feel like the fact that you put in so much love and effort into your work, and you have an agreement form, a lot of the people who work from their house, or they work from places where there's no like management, they don't care. They say, okay, you don't like your hair, I don't care. Like, you could go on about your day, go get it fixed somewhere else, I don't care. Like, they don't even care to bring you back in and fix it. But the fact that you do it, that just shows how good of a client, a hairdresser you are, you know?
Of course. I feel like that's relationship building, more of a reason to do it when you are working from home. Although, like, I take my facility and my space very, very seriously. I take care of it. Like, I have decorated it, and I've like made it a very comfy environment, but that's not all I want to give to them. I want start to finish, like, every process to be, you know, like,
enjoyable
and enjoyable, exactly, and organized, and for them to know, like, hey, you know, sometimes things happen, you know, that are beyond your control and mine. Let me know what they are. Let's discuss it. If you're reasonable with me, oh my God, I'll give you the world. But if it's complete entitlement and carelessness, then there's nothing I can do. You know?
I agree.
And at this point, you just want me to satisfy you, which is like just narcissism at this point, right?
I can't do that.
And I can't do that. The problem is like those individuals, like, you know, the issue is like them leaving reviews. You know?
But I can't stand people like that, because it's like anything can be solved, anything can be talked through. In that moment, okay, maybe you didn't feel like it. There's always a way of approaching someone. There's always a way of like calling back and saying, hey, like I whatever, for whatever reason, I'm not like, you know, liking this or whatever. Like there's a tone, there's a word, there's a way of saying things. But then when people go,
exactly,
right? Like it's and then of course
you ruined it. You like ruined and fried my hair.
Right. You can't talk like that. Like it's
very
like
accusational, right?
And again, just given my personality, I am a little loud, and I'll naturally be a little bit like, okay, like what you said, what? But again, it's hard. Like when it comes to business, like sometimes you have to control yourself. Sometimes you have to say, like, even if they're being rude or annoying and they're saying whatever they want to say,
you have to sort of like be more stoic. I learned that from my husband. With color too, right? There's such a variation that can occur because everybody's chemistry is different. Right? Like I feel like today, if you worked on my hair, you'd be like, Sonam, whose hair is this?
It happens
last year.
And I've had clients who come back and they say, "Oh, I got my hair done 3 years ago from here, and it was perfect, but now I got it done, and it's like not the color, or it doesn't look the way it looks.
It's not exactly the same."
So I'm like, yeah, that was also 3 years ago. Your color, your hair changes. You've lost tons of hair.
You might be on medication.
Maybe you've gained a lot of hair now.
Yeah.
And your lift is different because of your products, maybe, or maybe
there's buildup.
Anything. It could be anything, right? But
so many things.
I feel like a lot of clients don't understand that part.
Yeah.
Because they're like, but my hair is virgin hair, so how could there be buildup? But they're not understanding all the heat they're putting on it. They're not understanding all the products they're putting on it, right? Again, there is minimum like difference, but to them it's a big difference. So they're like, no, this doesn't look right. And then at that point, honestly, you just have to kind of just tell yourself, like, I'm gonna tell myself, I'm just gonna shut up. I'm just gonna try to fix the best I can. Because there's no how can I explain that?
Sometimes I find the 1%.
Yeah.
They just
1%.
want to see you do more work.
Yeah.
They just want to see that you could have done almost like nothing. It's like placebo effect.
Literally.
Right?
I've had that. Yeah.
And it's like,
and you know, like that's so funny. Like you said that. Like I always think about this. I had this client. I cut her hair, and she's like, "You're done cutting?" And I'm like,
"You're just really fast."
I'm like, "Yeah." Like she's like, "You layered my hair." And I'm like, and I literally picked up like her hair. I'm like, "This is your shortest layer. You asked for this is your longest."
Yeah.
She's like, "You did it all over." Like she's going like this.
That's
and I'm
so
like,
funny.
I'm like, "I'm sorry." Like I'm like, and I started laughing and I'm like, I'm sorry. I cut really fast. I just cut really fast. I don't know what else to tell you. Like it's just how I am as a person. I do everything fast.
You do everything. You have an internal speed. I always tell my husband this because I call him Speedy Gonzalez. Every person has an internal natural speed, right? And that can be affected by a lot of things, like whatever's going on in the background in your life. If you have issues, maybe you have ADHD, or
maybe
maybe you don't, or so. And maybe you're just like a calmer person. That's why you might be a little bit slower. He is so fast. You are like that. Yeah. Just so fast. For me, I think I'm medium.
Okay.
Like I need to assess, because I'm also like modulating my emotions while this is happening. I'm interacting with the client, and
I'm not like that.
Right?
Like, you know what? I need 10 things happening in order for me to focus on one thing. Does that make sense?
Interesting. Tell me a little more about that.
Like,
is that an ADD thing?
Maybe like I feel like when it's like a rammed like day, I feel so good, and I'm like, I'm getting this done. You love being under pressure. I love being under pressure. Yeah. It's so bad. Yeah. And I even like thought, like, you know, this is me coming up with a conclusion myself. Like, no one told me this. Like, I literally sat there and I'm like, okay, I only have, let's say, for example, 3 clients, and they're all spaced out enough that I'm finishing them on time. And I just don't feel like I'm doing anything. I did someone's hair. I sat down and I'm like, I'm so lazy. Like I can't. Yeah. I don't even want to get to my next client. You don't like the rest. I hate it. I hate it.
I'm like that too, actually.
I also hate the fact that it's so busy. Yeah. But I love it long run because I'm like, oh my gosh, I got so much done.
Because then you're measuring every like minute, right? And you're really trying to maximize on everything that you can do.
Like I love when I'm foiling my client, and then I'm like, okay, there's someone in the sink, I'm gonna mix her toner, I'm coming back to you, and now I'm gonna quickly trim your hair. I love that feeling.
It's like your jigsaw puzzle, right?
So fun.
To actually game of Tetris, if anything. And I
play that game a lot. There you go. It's just,
and you'll start to notice, like, you'll do that in your
everyday life.
Everyday life too. I'm like that in the kitchen. Like,
oh my gosh, same. Yeah.
So hats off to all the housewives.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how they do it.
Because that skill that it takes, it's this type of muscle
memory
that you're what's it called? You're working out, right? Yeah. Just being able to prioritize and fit all the right things, and then you're timing yourself. So that's probably a thrill to you.
Maybe that's where it comes from. Exactly. And I feel like my mom, obviously she's like that in the kitchen. Like, how are you making food? How are you making tea and like you're doing 10 things.
You have like 4 stoves. Yeah.
Yeah, like you have all the stoves on. Like I could never like, but in my kitchen, like I probably can't. But I feel like the older I'm getting, obviously the kitchen skills coming in handy.
Transferable skills.
Yeah, it's happening. But I feel like I tend to use that skill in work,
in
like
work
in my own work a lot.
Yeah.
And it's nice at the same time. At the same time, I'm like,
no, it is. It's a very good skill to have. In fact, I think that is something I would encourage newer stylists actually newer people going into any industry to learn.
Yeah.
I have a client. She works or she's apprenticing at a salon right now. It's your traditional all blonde, all Caucasian, blonde. It's not like a balayage or it's very different clientele, and
does she like
there
it?
Is no structure. They just are squeezing her and using her, and I'm like, you need to get out of there. They're not invested in you. You're turned off from this industry because of the choice,
you are.
Right? So both sides like kind of have to be accommodating, right? Like, I don't know, this is how I function. If I see that there's so much love being given to me, I want to
stay there, do
like tenfold. So I will leap for that comb if I have to, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm noticing like you just don't care and you're just trying to squeeze me, then I'm gonna walk away.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
I feel like some people don't have that
ability
third eye to
assess?
understand, like like maybe this is what's like. But then I feel like a lot of people will mistake that just for like for example, I worked till 8, but I was supposed to work till 7. Like a lot of people take that in that way,
right?
But that's not based like by like what you're saying by your word being squeezed. Like you mean
you have to have your own assessment of what that is, right?
So everyone will think of it differently.
They'll have a different lens.
Yeah. So like let's say for example, I'm first. Someone who is like me, who works fast and who likes to do everything fast, they'll feel like, okay, I'm okay with this. But someone who works slow, they'll be like, what the hell is happening? So it's really difficult position to be in.
But I think you're the type of person who would be like, okay, let me show you how to improve your motor skills.
If you don't get it like within the 2-3 times I'm like telling you, I'm just giving up. Like I'm like, okay,
go practice.
Yeah. And if you don't come back with something polished, then I'm gonna be pissed.
Or some improvement. Yeah, exactly. Which is so fair.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, this is just how the world works.
I hope, yeah.
I don't know. I think in this day and age, we've just become a little too careful, and we have to tippy-toe around. You have to step up.
Yeah.
Right?
Sometimes you have to make mistakes, and it's okay. Like, it happens. Like, sometimes you have to do something. Even, like, I kid you not, like, I tell my girls all the time, like, if some client came and said, I hate this and I hate that, like, it's okay. Just learn from it.
Yeah. And
just
learn how to, like, cope with that, too. And be okay with taking criticism.
And I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. Like, just understand what you did, understand what happened, and now if that similar situations happens, or if God forbid it never happens, but if it happens, now you know what to do. Now you know how to fix it,
and use that as an opportunity to understand. Okay, like actually, what didn't you like about it?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, did I hear you wrongly? Did I miss something? Because sometimes you have to learn to catch yourself. It's okay to do that. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And it's okay to admit that, hey, I did make a mistake.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to help fix this.
Fix it. Yeah. Like it obviously a mistake can happen 10 times. A mistake can only happen once, twice, maybe 3 times. That's also pushing it. Yeah. As per my opinion, but of course, like to some people, I feel like they say the more mistakes you make, but it just shouldn't be the same damn repetitive. Mistake. Yeah. Yeah. Like you can't be ruining a root touch up every single time. That will piss me.
Then it's just negligence.
I'm gonna send you home.
Yeah, that's just negligence and carelessness. Like you just are a person, you're displaying that you just don't care.
That's exactly the don't care. Like,
can you sense
don't
it?
care. Oh, I can sense it so fast. Yeah.
Do you think as hairstylists or just makeup artists, people that work in the space, like you're in someone's personal space,
I could feel it.
Feel it, right?
It's so. I don't even want to say this, but I could really I could.
It's like
pick up
you're a red flag.
Energy so fast, and you know what? I do catch myself being very like,
Straight.
say what you want to say,
Yeah.
and I'm going to say what I want to say.
Yeah.
But then I have to tell myself, no, at this point, I'm not talking to my husband. I'm talking to my client. You know what I mean? Like, or
Yeah,
like, I'm
yeah.
not talking to someone
Yeah.
I've known for a while. So I have to always like reset myself in that moment.
Yeah.
And it is hard when you're like working on a client, you're working with your, like your stylist, like fellow stylist. And then you're also like, you have like your
That's a lot of
random
background.
client coming. Yeah, there's
It's like,
a lot
you know,
happening.
you have all these windows open in the background.
And
of your
the
computer.
way
It's
I've like
that.
taught myself to switch my mood, I hope I've like worked a little bit on it, because and I feel like in the past I wasn't as good. Like there were times when I would be irritated with my own like stuff. I would kind of like my tone would kind of show,
because you're
like
just put off, right?
yeah, because like if now you're asking me a really question, even though
Like,
it might not be for you, it's to me, I'm gonna be
Right.
like, how do you not know this? You know,
right?
like it just comes out. And of course, like I said, we're human. We all make mistakes.
Yeah.
We all probably get angry and say things, but it was never like in a bad intention. So I always have to tell myself, okay, now you're talking to a brand new client you've never met before. So maybe reset and go, okay, I understand. So I just have to like, tell myself, okay, that's it.
Yeah. And I'm sure you've gotten a lot better over from the time
hope,
you started in this business, right? It teaches you a lot. It also, I think, comes from our upbringing, our parents.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, there was no chill.
There was nothing.
Right? It was
everything. You had to get yelled at about everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
But that also like built thick skin.
Oh my God. And I'm like, sometimes I think about it. I'm like, maybe there could have been a little bit balance, but I feel
little
like
softness.
A little
I'm
softness.
a girl.
Yeah.
I'm a daughter, for crying out loud.
But they did not spare me. And I'm
Yeah.
like, and now I'm like, look at my siblings and I'm like, how?
Yeah, like what is that?
What is happening?
But I think they're usually tougher on the older kids.
Always.
So mine was a weird situation.
Are you the eldest? No.
I'm the youngest.
Oh, okay.
But I was treated like a girl when it was like according to society.
Okay.
But I was treated like the boy as well.
Okay.
And the older ones, like, oh yeah,
Maybe-
you can pick up all the groceries.
Maybe you were just
can do
grown, like mature enough.
maybe.
Yeah.
And like my parents, especially my mom's like, you'll always figure it out. So the attention wasn't given to me as much
As the youngest, you should have received.
as I should have, right? And I often felt like very abandoned. But then it came to like, when it came to kind of correcting me and telling me things, like they had no chill.
Yeah.
So going,
But do you like being told and being corrected now?
That's why I like it. Like I'll feel bad for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But I'll be like, I appreciate that you told me this. Even
That's so
in my
funny.
friends, I'm like, I rather you tell me how you feel.
Then we see it after and then say,
Yeah.
oh, you never told me.
Of course,
Fair
there's
enough.
a way to say it, but I would prefer that.
Yeah,
Because I
fair
feel like
enough.
that's like your absolute honest self.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's just a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Right. So I want to talk to you a little bit about loyalty and stylist turnover. How many stylists and apprentices would you say you have, working at one shot? In like your busy season, for example.
Like, if I think about my team in the past, I had about 6 or 7 stylists.
Wow, that's
and
a
a couple
lot.
of them were apprentice at that moment. I want to say 6 for sure, if I'm like counting it correctly. But yeah, like usually when I hire, like I'll hire them as like training stylists, and then but they're also apprentice. But again, I feel like a lot of people will be apprentice and then they like disappear, right? So
Do you have some sort of, or do you think having some sort of like a contract in place is a good idea? Because I remember when I finished school, actually I didn't finish school. I started apprenticing midway.
yeah,
And I joined a very well-known salon I'm not going to name.
yeah,
But they had a clause. They were like kind of pushing me to sign this contract because they're also investing in my education, that if I leave before my 5-year period, that I would have to pay them $5,000. That was part of their contract.
okay.
Like if I break that contract, then
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't have a contract. Like,
do you
to
feel
be
like
fair,
that's
I think
that's-
I am considering one. It just has to be very I'm
worded
not, yeah,
correctly,
correctly.
right?
I'm not asking you for no money. I just expect
Yeah.
some loyalty, of
Loyalty.
course. Maybe
Yeah.
not some, but like full loyalty. And I'm just not, I just don't like when someone's a little like shady, if
Shady,
that
yeah.
makes
They're just
sense.
there to get something out of you
Yeah,
and
but
learn.
like you know what? Like you know what? Like I always say, you come in, no problem. You learn a balayage, and then you're gone. Then what are you gonna do after 2 years when balayage is not a thing?
Yeah, and how do
You know what I
you
mean?
keep up to date with trends? Or
Yeah.
I do
Like
feel,
it's fine. It's okay. I
yeah,
mean, I'm sure you could do balayage all your life, but I feel like not all your clients are gonna want a balayage all your
yeah,
life, you know? So that's not the only skill that you need to learn. So I feel like when you feel like you're ready, it's different. But when I say you're ready, it's different. And I'm not that kind of person who will be like, if you're ready, I'm gonna be like, oh, you're not ready. Like it's not
yeah,
that, you know? I'm not sitting there and saying you're a senior stylist for no reason. I'm saying it because I see some sort of like skill in you for me to be like, you are a senior stylist or you could be a head stylist, because I see those little skill set
right.
in you, you know?
What would you say about those individuals who are sort of, they come in and then they just want to dip
Leave.
and leave and start their own business, which is fine. Everybody
Yeah.
has a
Good
right to
luck. Yeah.
do that. But like, how do you kind of navigate that? Because I feel like I do see that a lot more now.
Yeah. Than
It's
in the
shifting
past. Yeah.
into more of an independent
Yeah.
stylist type of environment,
Yeah.
because I think the pop-ups of these salons by JC Sola Studios and stuff, like there's a lot more options now.
Yeah.
But there's something like priceless about starting, I feel,
A
with
salon.
in a salon, like staying,
100%.
at least like 5 years or
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
really learning the ropes. You understand how the business runs as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would, like, if I were to ever start, I would want to, like, start at a salon and give it my all until I feel like, okay, I don't think there's anything
Yeah.
else I need to learn. And that's really hard because I feel like you learn everything every single day. I learn something every single
Every day, yeah.
So I truly don't think you just doing apprenticeship for like a year makes you the best stylist.
Yeah.
You could be a good stylist. You could be a nice stylist for that time being. But I feel like when you want like that repetitive clientele, when you want to like produce something that has like that longevity of like transformation, like it's
and
like it's hard. Like I don't think you can build that fast. And again, like if that works for you, sure.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I'm not gonna hold anyone back, and I can't.
Yeah.
Like of course it hurts to like see someone go that fast, especially then again the shadiness comes in, because the first question I ask when I hire someone, or even if I tell them to come in for a trial, is like, if your goal is to just stay here for your apprenticeship, then I don't think this is a spot for you. And it's just not nice that you're gonna come here, learn and this and that, and then just kind of leave.
Yeah. What would you say is like the best way to build like salon culture that makes people want to stay long term? Like, is there, more of like a competitive commission split? I don't know actually how you
it works.
structure your payments. Are they salary based?
Like that stuff is very personalized to like each stylist.
Okay. You're kind of open to that?
We're open. Like, so if that's another thing, like if that's something that you are interested in, that I feel like that's something that needs to be brought up. Like, I can't read your mind. I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know what your goals are. So if you're thinking, no, I have the clientele and I want to do this way, it needs to be set.
Yeah. Because
right?
I think also what people don't realize who are starting their own business, the operating costs are so high. I work from home, and I'm telling you, it's like the cost of products, you're marketing yourself, when you're starting and you're with an organization,
you have half of the stuff that's done for you.
More. You literally are getting clients in your hand.
Yeah.
So for that, take 50%.
Yeah.
Because literally it's 50%.
Yeah.
And I think
or more.
Yeah. And let's not forget the amount of time. Like, you've seen me, like I literally work from morning to night.
It's hard. Like I don't know why people don't understand this. Like I always say, the amount of booking your appointments, dealing with unhappy clients or happy clients or whatever the case is, like there's so much There's so much we do. Like, I get irritated, like, when I'm given the phone and I'm like, they're like, oh, they need to talk to you. And I'm like, I don't want to do it, but I do it, and I do it for all my stylists. I do it for my girls, but that's what I mean. Like, that the whole stuff is taken care of for you. You're only getting a notification that says you have an appointment. Literally, you're not dealing with them. You're not asking them 10-minute questions. You're not asking them to send your deposit. You're not canceling, rebooking them if they haven't sent the deposit.
The admin,
there's a lot of stuff.
There's so much, and
now all you have to do is produce the work, take a picture, post it.
There's so many times in my mind, like on certain days where I'm so exhausted because I'm doing everything. I'm working on all those buckets, right? Yeah. The sales, the fulfillment, the marketing, all of it. Yeah. And sometimes I'm like, I just wish
someone could do it for me.
Someone can just do this for me. I just want to paint hair. Yeah. You know, I just want to be like, I just want to go la la la. Yeah.
And then walk away. Yeah.
You know, but I think because I've just always been so, like, I've worked so independently, it'll be a very drastic shift. Yeah. But if I was to go back in time, like, I think, that was
you
like
would enjoy it.
Yeah, I would enjoy being in a good. So I just wish that I started off in a salon that I really loved, and I realized, like, that does exist.
Oh yeah.
You just have to actually interview them. And, you know, I think maybe it's like a cultural thing. When I was younger, you're kind of taught, like, you just have to take whatever you can get. Yeah. And you just have to sort of, like, go and do your time and, like, keep your, you know, head down and do the work and, like, clean up, like, after the people and this and that. Like, so in some ways that does instill some good habits, but on the other hand, it's like you don't think about your own self-worth. Yeah. So I wish you guys existed when I started, you know. I would have been like, sign me up right now. Yeah. That's if you would have hired me.
Yeah, of course I would have. I'll take you today. Hello. You'll get your freedom, don't worry.
No, because I saw your environment. I was like, where was this when I was looking for a space, right?
And that's another thing. Like, I feel like I've done co-op, and I've, like, when I was in high school, I actually did co-op in, like, a salon, and I saw how things work, and it's I don't know how to say this, like, in the right way.
It's just very cutthroat.
Yeah, like, I feel like there's a lot of jealousy. There's a lot of, like,
oh my gosh,
I'm better, you're not. I know how to do this, you don't. Like, it's like there's no, like, love in your work. Like, it just shows. Like, it's hard. Like, and I honestly, I still enjoyed it so much that I still wanted to work there. Yeah. I'm like, I still want to work here because I get attached to people. That's my problem. Yeah. Even when I hire, I get so attached to my people. Like, I'm like, that's why it hurts extra more. Like, kind of like to let them go. Yeah. And again, I'm not holding on to them, but I, like, of course they go, but it's still, like, deep down I'm like, oh my god,
yeah, it pinches. Yeah,
like, but
and you also enjoy working with some of these people,
someone, yeah,
right?
And obviously, like, it's not like if realistically, if I think about it, like, if I worked with someone, I'm not going to be following someone around. They're not going to be following me around, right? So I get that. I get it, but it just needs to be a very, like, open conversation. It needs to happen, and a lot of our people are scared for that conversation to happen. Yeah. They don't say, this is my goal, I want to do this, I want to do that. Like, they don't prepare us. And then that's when it gets difficult.
Do you think it's because predominantly, I know you have South Asian
it is
men
our
and
people.
Women, right? Our people. Do you find like they have trouble being confrontational? Yeah. Right? Yeah. It's a thing in our culture. Yeah. I think we're not exercising that. I mean, my husband and I have this discussion all the time because sometimes I see, you know, people in my circle and extent, they're always just kind of like very careful. They choose their words very carefully. Yeah. And then I'm just like, it's because you have never had practice speaking up.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And speaking up is not disrespectful. Yeah. Speaking up, you can really have just a very genuine tone and say, hey, I really need to have this conversation with you. I just want to let you know I'm not trying to, you know, disrespect you, but here is what I feel. Yeah. Like, you can learn how to modulate your voice. Yeah. And
people don't know how to do that.
People don't know how to do that. So
I was just talking to my girls about that, actually, same exact conversation. And I just said, I feel like it's just our people that are, like, you know, family and our mothers or whoever, like, teaches us, like, you just can't say how you feel. don't say how you
Yeah.
feel, don't tell anyone your moves. And it's like, what moves are you really
What
talking
moves?
about? Like, why would you want to hide something that needs to be brought up,
Yeah.
that needs to be talked about, so you don't have any, like, you know, you're not leaving on bad terms, or you're not,
There's
like,
no manipulation.
yeah, like no one's trying to, and I'm like, I can't hold you back, I'm not gonna hold you back, I'm not tying you down here, I'm not, you know, that's
Read the
another
room, read
yeah.
the person that you're actually talking
And that's
to.
another reason why I didn't have a contract for the longest
Mm-hmm.
time, but I'm really considering it. I'm like, if I want to hire someone new, I think I really need a contract in place, because I don't like being hurt. But then again,
But you're
everything
also
has
running a
pros and
business,
cons, right? Everything has pros and cons. So if I have a contract, then they're thinking, okay, contract says 5 years, that's it, 5 years are my end. You know what I mean? Whereas if that person wanted to stay longer, now they're like, fuck, like, I don't know what to do, right?
They can stay longer.
Yeah,
right.
of course.
If there's a beautiful relationship. Like some people stick around in salons for like years.
And I know some people are still at those salons, but that's our older generation. They're not like our new people. Like, again, I feel like me personally, I would have definitely also been that person. Like, I would have stayed at a place longer, but that's also because I know how to move myself in a way to, like, you know, get comfortable,
you'll
and
create
also
the
change
opportunities.
things.
Yeah. Some people, I think, you know, they feel like, oh my God, this is my ceiling.
Yeah, some people are scared to change things too. Like, even if, like, when I'm working, like, I always, like, also say, like, okay, you know, like, if there's anything you think you think we need to do, you think we should get a new color
line, new
or
product.
anything. I'm like, I'm not like, oh my gosh, this is never gonna happen, and how dare you disrespect and disrupt my there's I feel like a lot of people are scared to do that because they think, oh no, this is not my business. Why would I better it? Why would I try to, or why would I even give an opinion? What if they get mad? It's not, I'm not like that. We're not like that. Like, we actually appreciate
I think it's definitely a cultural thing.
It
really is. And maybe my mom and I were having, I'm like, maybe it paid off that I was so mouthy, because I was one of those kids, right?
Always say whatever you want to say.
I will say it in a way where it's like, well, explain to me why. And I was very like to the like straight, like I would catch. It's like, no, I need to understand a reason. So I was always able to like stand up to it and communicate. Was it received well all the time? No, because sometimes, like, my dad was very old school and traditional. He's like
how dare you question?
Yeah, it's very Buttamese. But I'm like, there's nothing Buttamese about anything I'm saying right now. I'm literally laying the facts. They mistake confidence with Buttamese.
Yeah.
So that becomes such a like, it's a mind, right?
Yeah.
As you get older and then you're out there working in the world, and then you probably come across different environments, different work environments where you're still expected to behave this way. Suddenly you are, like, say in your salon where things are open, there's good communication. You're just like, oh no, this I'm sure it's still, they still require me to be this way.
Yeah.
Like, this is just, you know, I shouldn't be too free with how I say. I should just like hold myself back a little bit, even though the opportunity exists for you to just kind of like
say whatever
you want, right?
Yeah, I guess it's also a person to person thing. Like, everyone's personality is different.
Everyone's personality is different.
So some people, it takes some time to like even come with like words to like say. So it could just
vocabulary, right? Sometimes you just don't necessarily have the vocabulary or like
the right words to say.
Right words to say, or the modulation of your tone. That's a big one. I do have a lot of like coaching calls that I get on. Like, sometimes I have people on my Instagram, they're like, hey, listen, can I just speak to you? You know, kind of like the 1001 coffees concept. And I love doing that, right? For individuals. That's how this whole thing kind of started. That's how it started, right? I'm like, I think there are people out there that just really want to know, like,
what is behind the scenes.
What's behind the scenes. There's a place for them to go to. So I digress. That's one of the things I say, like, just believe you're genuine. Be clean in your heart.
That's
and
number one.
Put it out. You know, your intention.
I feel like when you're not true to yourself, and you're not, again, if you're being shady, there's only so much that's gonna come out of it, and it shows. What? Everyone, like today, we're filled with like social media. We're filled with everything that's like online. Your client, my client. You know, no one's anyone's like permanent client.
No
like,
one is. There's
you know, like, yeah, you have your fair share of clients that are never going to leave you.
Yeah.
But again, those are people who are like, you know, like us.
Like
That's
us,
why they
the
stick
loyalty.
to us, right?
Yeah, loyalty's big.
But it's different. Like, I'm not saying like I'm not available and you're never going to get your hair done. Hell no. Like, I want you to, like, of course, feel, you know, great about yourself. So if there is someone available and you trust them, of course, go give them a try. That's not a problem. But there is, again, that a client relationship is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
And a personal, like, your, like, employer relationship is different, right? So I feel like you need to be very, like, clean-hearted when you work for someone.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to pay off. That's what's going to show, you know, when you're actually putting, like, whatever work you're putting out there, it shows.
And I also think sometimes, like, it gives you a lot of control. You can actually turn certain people that are, like, say your employer is closed and, like, very rigid. Your genuine attitude and, like, you just showing up like that all the time often turns them into a more communicative person. Like, they start to, like, hey, no, they'll start to see that over time. I've experienced that myself. I'm always like, I'm gonna kill you with my love, right? In my mind, I'm like, I'm just gonna make you like me, right? But
then see that comes down to how a person is, right? Some people feel closed off and they're like, okay, like maybe this person just, like, I have had this situation when people think I don't like them, but I'm like, there's no when it comes to work. There's no I love you when it comes to work. That comes after work. That comes when we're having fun.
Yeah.
That's
have to compartmentalize
if I'm having a conversation with you, we're laughing, we're chatting, whole different situation. I could seem like I love you, but when you are working and you're pissing me off, I'm literally, I've like detached myself from that personality completely, right? So maybe I could be a little at that point, but I'm not being like that for any other reason because of who you are. I'm just being like that because of the work
and that moment. Because, like, sometimes, you know, there's a person that one day is just slacking off. It's like, I need you here.
Yeah.
You know,
like, where are you?
Where
like,
are
up.
you?
Yeah,
like, you are supposed to be alert, like you said, like a hawk.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell, like, I'll be very honest. There was a stage in my life or in the beginning where I was just like a little la, 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 la. I think you are when you're younger, right? There's so much going on in my life too. And then my mentor at the time was like, I need you to be more alert, you know? And then something happened where my reflexes just changed. You know, bringing up the comb thing again, but it got to this point where I was like, you know, I see this comb falling and I'm just
you're
like
catching it.
Like a ninja.
I get that.
Right? And that talk did everything for me.
Yeah.
Right. And that,
like, you know, I actually get so, like, I had this client actually said that to me. She's like, I love how you're like here and there and there and there. And I'm like, this is the best compliment anyone could ever give me. I'm like, I don't care about how I look. I am just, I'm like, I'm so happy that you complimented that part of me. But
complimenting your character traits it's the highest form of compliment. Yeah. I don't care about looks.
I could be really, really pretty to someone else and really
not
ugly to someone else.
Exactly.
It's fine. Like, I don't care, you know, but like, it's what I see. It's how I feel, you know, and how I am as a person. Like, I feel like I'm genuinely, like, the way I am, like, inside, like, I don't keep recognize anything, that, you know? Yeah. Like, if I don't feel a vibe with someone, I'm not gonna sit there and have like that kind of conversation with someone. Like, it just doesn't come out. It's not natural for me, and it shows. It really shows. And and that's one
you can't pretend.
I can't. And that's when sometimes, like, I always get into fights with like everyone, and I'm like, I can't keep things in. Like, I just say how I feel. It just comes out. Like, even if I'm trying not to, I'm just very, like, expressive person, and
it's just natural. Like, you just who you are. It's an open book. And that's one of the things I love about you. Yeah. Because I think I'm like that.
Yeah.
Like,
I can't.
What you see is what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Right?
There's
entirely.
no, like, I'm not gonna go home and be like, I hate that bitch. Like, it just doesn't happen for me.
Never. It just never does.
Yeah. Like, if we're not, like, compatible, or if the things are not, like, the way I expect or whatever. Like, sometimes you could still like a person, but you can't have a great time with them, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Because that's just how your personality kind of like aligns, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
And some people you're gonna have so much fun with, or you're gonna be laughing and this and that, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
Like that's not my fault, that's not your fault.
Yeah.
But then there are some people who you just can't get along with, and that's okay too, you know what
Absolutely.
I mean? And I don't beat myself for it, and I also don't sit there and be like, oh my gosh, I love you and I'm gonna laugh with you, but then at the same time at home I'm like, I can't do that, you know?
I can't do that either. And it's one of those things, like, I may not be palatable to you.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I'm very,
okay.
very secure in myself. Like, I might not be the stylist for you. Maybe your experience in my chair was there was too much talking. Maybe I asked you too many questions, because
maybe you didn't like that.
Maybe you just don't like to talk.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Normally, if my clients tell me, and I usually ask them in the beginning, I'm like, hey, do you want it a little more of a quieter session? Or do you want to chat? They're like, oh my God, we want to chat, you know? Or it's like, I'm really tired.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I have to say to myself, I'm like, damn, I was talking too much. Like, maybe I need to calm down. Like,
did I overshare?
Yeah, but it happens after. And then I'm like, maybe I should just shut up. And usually, you know, when that happens, when like my bowl is being mixed, because obviously like I have people like when they're helping me, when they go mix a bowl, and I'm like,
now it's awkward.
Yeah, I'm like, oh shit, like maybe I was talking too much. But if obviously a client is responsive and they're talking, it's a whole different situation. Or sometimes I feel like, okay, maybe I didn't talk at all today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why was I so quiet? But honestly, it's a couple of things. Like, either I'm really focused on the hair because there's some sort of situation, or I'm just thinking of something in my head that has nothing to do with my work. It's just something completely different.
You're preoccupied.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, you're getting you have a renovation going on.
Yeah. And I zone out a lot. Yeah. Like, I've noticed that. Like, sometimes someone will be talking to me and I'm literally, and I have to like, I'm like, she's talking to you, like, shut up, like, what are you doing, like, why are you thinking about this? Then I'm like, oh like, it happens. It's very normal.
It's very normal, for sure. It's crazy how much you actually juggle in your workplace, and you have 7 to 8 people going on simultaneously. That's a lot.
That's now I have like 4 stylists, but like I'm very happy and secure where I am with them. They're good people, and that's all I honestly care for at this point. Like, that's amazing. I could polish your skills, no problem, but I can't clean your heart.
Yeah, you can't clean your... No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
What would you say are like some marketing strategies that you use to get them booked? Like, for you, okay, yeah, you know, you have Instagram, you put your work out, but like, you have a new stylist that doesn't have a huge portfolio. I don't
want to really say, I don't want to call it marketing
strategy.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not really like, I'm not selling something that's not there, if that makes sense. Like, if they, like, sometimes I'll have a client and they come in and I know that this person can do it. I'll say this person can and this person can't. Not because they don't know what they're doing it. Maybe they're just not experienced enough to work with your hair because of what kind of client you are. So there are some clients who are more pickier, and I know who can handle them. Right? So it's just, it's different. But like, when it comes to like just obviously
getting
promoting,
their books in.
Promoting.
Do you do model days with them?
And whatever they post, whatever they do, like, obviously sometimes they'll be like, I can't get a picture. Okay, then I'll help them take a picture. I'll try my best as much as I can with whatever energy I have left. I do try to help them take pictures. Because it's exhausting getting pictures. I mean, honestly, it's hard. Sometimes I can't even get a picture in my hair. Like, I feel like will look so good, and I'm like, I just can't get a picture today.
I can't get a picture. This has been happening to me all year 20. Okay, I've been doing like everything well 2025. I
think it's the weather.
It's the weather.
I hope it gets like when it gets warmer and gets a little brighter. It will definitely be nice outside.
I'm like struggling. I'm like, everything I look through my gap, I'm like, no.
Yeah, like, it's not worthy. No. Instagram worthy, basically.
Yeah, it's not.
It doesn't feel right. I get that.
And I'm just like, oh, you know, everybody knows I do good hair. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
Until I get like,
you just have to like tell yourself that, like, whatever. But you shouldn't. Like, that's one thing you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like that.
Photos are very important.
Yeah. Get your,
especially in the beginning.
Even like for my client, like for my girls, I tell them, like, even if the job isn't like done so well, I think you should still take a picture, because then you will have something to compare to
and a reference point for your, like, you put that in your client file.
Yeah. And what if they come back the next time, you know exactly what you've done.
Yeah.
and you remember them because of that, because you can't, there's no way you're gonna remember each and every girl who sits in your chair, or guy, I don't know, like,
I usually put notes as best as I can. I'm like, okay, this is how much I mean, sometimes it's hard to say, oh, I mixed 5 grams of,
no, I don't do grams. I can't do grams.
I'll just be like, these are the 3 that I mixed, and you'll kind of understand the ratio when you look at the picture.
Exactly. Like, I barely remember what I ate last night, but like so I can't do grams, but I will try to like usually I will remember by looking at the picture. I'll be like, okay, I did this toner, that toner, or okay, because every time the client will come back asking for a toner, possibility is they want something else, or their washout is different, so now they want the same thing, but I can mix it based on what I know best to give them similar
and what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we're gonna get into a few personal questions. How's married life? You got married last year, right?
Yeah. Good.
Yeah,
it's good. Everyone has their ups and downs,
of course,
but no, it's good.
And you guys work together too, right? So you guys get to see each other a lot. And how long have you guys been together,
like in terms of
like in relationship wise?
I don't even know.
You've like forgotten.
Like,
that's how
so
long.
That's
good. That's
but like overall, I've known him for like 10 years now. So
yeah,
it's been.
So it's like the marriage was a formality.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's a very chill, calm individual from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Which is probably something you
the
need.
Opposite.
I just don't understand why guys are just so calm and we're just so spicy. Is it because like we are always responding to so much stimulation? Like, I never like to play the victim with with the man woman thing. They have their own struggles, man. Like, this whole whatever wave of feminism that we're in, I don't know if
I stress differently.
You stress differently.
Like, I show stress, like I cry or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
He doesn't show stress. That's when you know he's stressed. Like, he's quiet and this and that. So I'm like, something's wrong.
He is stoic.
Yeah. So it's different.
And it's admirable. Yeah. How do you maintain like your work-life balance? Because I know running a salon is just so many hours. You're working on your days off. You're going into like if the salon's open, like I try not to go in for too long. Like, I'll go in, I'll pop in just to see if everything's okay. Yeah, I only have 1 day off. Yeah, but, like, I mean, Tuesdays we don't really, we are closed completely. Okay. But Mondays I try to take it off. So if I am off, I'll still pop in. I'll say hi, or if there's any questions or anything, like, I'll quickly manage it. But honestly, there's no really no day off really. Like, so my phone's always available to them, so they're always if they could message me questions, any sort of anything they need, they message me. But balance is, when I go home, I try to only do my little posting, and then I'm not looking at work. But I'm only thankful to my husband, because he is someone who takes care of that part, where he books appointments. He's obviously available on that all day, every day. So that part of, I guess, the business is handled with really him. Well, I kind of do get that break from not having to look at the phone, or not having to book an appointment. So when he does ask me, I do get into a fight with him. So I get this phone away from me, and he always says, why do you always do that? I'm like, yeah, but it's simple. It's, you do this every day, but you ask me that same question, you know? But it's okay. I guess he needs a break too sometimes. Yeah, of course.
So yeah, that's it.
Okay. And what about the home front? Is it you guys are pretty much for the most of your life actually at the salon?
Yeah.
So do you have help at home? And because I always wonder with people that are running really, they have a lot of staff, there's bigger businesses, brick and mortar. How do you manage your home front? You must need an extra helping hand,
Harry
right?
tries to do whatever he can at home. I try to, obviously, when it comes to cooking, it's very difficult. Yeah. So of course, my mom is there, she'll cook. Okay. Harry's mom's there, she'll cook. What do you do without moms? Yeah, right. And then other than that, honestly, when it comes to cleaning, I am a very
OCD.
Yeah, I like to do it my way.
That's being a hairstylist, and exactly, you have everything needs to be sanitized.
So if I'm on Sundays, if I do finish early, I go home, and then I'll just try to clean up that night, so I don't have to do it Mondays or Tuesdays.
You have your day.
Yesterday I didn't clean for the things that I have in mind that I needed to do, I'm gonna go probably do it today or do it tomorrow, you know. But at least then I try to like take a break and try to rest myself as much as I can. But I feel like cleaning actually is a stress reliever for me.
Yeah.
So when I clean and I'm deep in cleaning and with my music on, I'm just like zoned out. I'm cleaning and
it's fun. Or you have a podcast
nice.
on.
Yeah.
Or She.E.O's of the Six.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, you listen to us and then you get to cleaning. It'll be nice. Yeah.
Okay. So if you could go back in time, what advice would you give yourself, like your younger self, like that's just starting in this industry? Or do you feel like, you know what, you did most of it right? There didn't just be this like one thing. Or you would do it completely different?
No, like I feel like overall I definitely think I'm okay with how I did it. I just do feel like I should have given myself more opportunity, where I should have gone and taken that like extra step in like learning things with different people rather than sticking to one thing. Like when I was in hair school, like I did have people reach out to me and say, even like one of our teachers, like he was actually a salon owner and he wanted me to come and work with him. He's like, just come one day of the week and just come and do things here. Obviously it was like maybe volunteer based, I don't know what it was, but I should have taken that. But I also couldn't at that time because of how strict my parents were, because they like from my house to Oakville sounded like you're going all far
the way,
so they were like, no way. And then like I should have maybe involved my parents more. Like maybe I could have been like, okay, you drop me, you take me, whatever. But I feel like that's where I could have like if I were to go back, I would tell myself, no, like just go.
So just introduce a variety of learning.
And I think I like me being the way I am today, like my shyness has only like evolved over like a couple of years now. I was very shy. I'm still pretty shy if you think about it, like especially if I don't know you. I'm not like, but like everyone thinks of shy differently. I'm not shy when it comes to just presenting myself. It's just when I talk, I'm shy, if that makes sense, right?
And it depends, like, is it an audience?
How many cameras are around? And then I feel like maybe had I given myself that like that social, you know,
aspect,
like I could have maybe discovered myself a little bit sooner. Maybe I could have been more present on social media a little sooner. So I feel like that those are certain things I could probably tell myself, okay, like maybe you should do this, you know.
And I think
talk to people,
with the newer generation, they're just very natural at being in front of the camera.
So it's easier for them to do all that.
This, like, they also don't have such restrictions.
But they also should not just focus on that. That's another thing, right? Like then you get so caught up with, I want to look a certain way on social media, but you don't look a certain way in real life, then that it doesn't add up, you know?
Or your actions don't match
what you're saying on social media. So it's hard. It is obviously a tough pill to swallow, like especially for younger generation. Like it's not easy, but it is still something that that needs to be like, you know, considered when posting. Because kids these days post anything and everything, and it's like you'll regret it, or you'll at least think back and say, why did I do that? You know. So it is hard. Or like again, just have a very clear understanding of what you're posting, what you're putting out there. And like again, when
sometimes a little bit of shyness is a good thing. Kind of just hold yourself back a little bit. Step back a little bit and just assess, like, is this just BS and fluff? That's what it is. I think I started off with that. You did. You know?
Like I'm not like, that's what I'm like, what I mean, like when it comes to like me posting my content, I post what I post. It's the pictures, it's the before and after, it's that and that. I'm not that kind of person that can sit there and talk on the camera for too long or explain something. Like, of course, if I have to do it for work, I'll probably do it, but it's not me on the regular. Or I'm not gonna like sit there and like talk about my personal life on social media to get that going. Like I can't do that. I just never been like that.
Too many people.
And I can't. I've never been like that. I'll post my outfits. I like doing that. You know, like
this part, what you're saying has a lot to do I think that works well for independent stylists.
Yeah.
Like showing a bit of your personality. Because
Personal life, yeah.
That's what you have,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
When you're working with a whole team and you're
It's
managing
hard.
a place, it's very hard.
And you know what? Kudos to you. Like, if you could do it, like, I could never. Like, I feel like I don't even know how to, like have fun and have my phone at the same time. Like, sometimes I put my, like, if I even go out with, especially and I'm not, honestly, I don't even really go out. It's so rare. And
if I do, posts. I don't know. If I do, me. I'm like, she's having fun.
Yeah. If I do make it out, I'm like usually with the girls from work too, and I'm like, I spend my whole day with them. Then I go out, and then my phone's like turned off and it's upside down. Like I just
unplug.
Like it's very rare that I would take a video or make a Snapchat. It's usually like everyone else taking a picture. I'm just reposting it.
Just repost.
Like it's
and
okay.
your friends will do everything properly
for
too,
me.
aesthetically.
Exactly.
I'm
like,
okay,
this looks good. Or they'll be like, here, you take a video because you know how to take a video. I'm like, okay, give me your phone because
I'll take your hair pictures.
Yeah.
You're really good at your hair photos, and I think you have like nice big bright light. Oh my gosh,
it's
lighting.
the door. It's the door.
Lightings. I want to start utilizing.
And it still sucks though. Yeah.
It still what?
It still sucks.
Yeah.
The big door, it's not enough. Like, because I feel like the time frame we work in, like by the time I'm done the hair,
that's my challenge.
The sun's like the other way.
That's my challenge. Yeah. I feel
it's hard.
Because sometimes some people that have like, hair for 80 people, I'm literally working on them 6 hours.
And by the time you're done, it's dark outside.
And it's dark outside in the winter. So summer is when I'm like, okay, I actually need to try and
get a picture.
Get as much as
it's hard. Like with ring lights, it's not the same.
It's not.
Outdoor lighting, outdoor lighting is not the same as, and you can't get them to step outside. Yeah. No, it's that you standing inside and the light hitting from outside. That's what gives you that accurate light.
And you need like a darker overhead, like no light on top.
Yeah, exactly. Not like directly on top. Like with my salon, like I do have obviously like that ceiling. But
yours is a fill light.
I guess
the room more.
Yeah,
it's not directly because such high ceilings.
Yeah, so it doesn't like point like that. But I do feel like the ceiling is not. It's kind of like beigey. So sometimes pictures do turn out different, and then that's when I'm irritated. I'm like, screw it. Like I can't get a picture. Like it's okay next time. Like
Would you ever be interested in like doing? Maybe we'll do another episode, and we'll just kind of focus on photos, like how.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Right, we'll make.
I can give my little tips.
Yeah, that'd be so great, because I think that would apply to just
anyone. Yeah, right?
Anyone. Yeah, and I mean, you don't have to give away all your secrets.
Why not? Why not?
Just at least
they're just few. Okay, so even if I start talking about them, they're gonna be. I'm sure
there. When you expand on each of them, it'll be a lot. There's so much. In your own mind and why you arrived at that simple thing.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, so, because it is hard when I try to explain it and I'm like, no, wait, it's this, and then you're like, but I'm doing the same thing, and I'm like, no, you're not like English.
Especially teaching clients that are awkward, because sometimes some people just like they're not dancers.
Yeah, and they're not posers.
Yeah,
and some people are, and you know what? When they're posers, I'm like, girl, just keep it going. Yeah. Like I'm like, don't stop. Just don't stop.
Like I'm okay for another half an hour. Like just keep going.
Yeah. No, I love when my clients know how to pose, and it's okay if they don't. I just have this one pose that everyone gets it, and it's just so easy to get a picture. Like I'll just share it. It's basically just like you putting your hands behind.
You made me do it.
Oh, I did. Yeah. Okay, and then
tilting
then
forward.
You like lean forward, and that breaks their like stiffness in the back. Mm-hmm. So when they lean forward, you could just move them wherever you want. Yeah,
and then especially when you
turn
and look at the shoulder, the hair's falling.
Yeah, those are some tricky ones because some people just don't know how to put their chin to their shoulder.
They don't, and there's like a weird ripple, or they get stiff.
Yeah, so I think there are certain poses that work, like that one classic pose that works for everyone, and then obviously there are some difficult ones. But then if you can do it, some of my clients know how to pose, and they're like influencers for their daily life, so they do really well. Yeah. And I'm like,
that'll be fun. We'll do a session. Maybe I'll just come to the salon.
Come to the salon and we'll do all the poses on camera.
Yeah, I love that. So with that, I just want to say thank you so much. You're such a wealth of knowledge, and literally, I think new hairstylists, I wish that all of them have a mentor like you.
Thank you.
It's you when you find a genuine person, like hold on to
them.
That's my
I
rule
agree.
in life.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
I'm gonna give myself a little pat on the back because I'm like,
You should.
yeah. I think my read and my read on people has always
Pretty
been
good.
really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes people try to tell you not
Otherwise.
to trust your instinct.
Yeah.
But for individuals
you
out
should
there that are like
always.
growing in their life and their personality in business, like just learn to strengthen your intuition.
Yeah.
And I think it'll take you places.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
Thank you so much. This was absolutely a blast.
Thank you. I
see you
loved
again.
chatting with you.
Thank you. God, she's such a vibe, right? I hope you enjoyed hearing from Glam by Sammy as much as I did. Her story, her leadership, and her raw honesty about what it takes to thrive in the salon world, especially while leading a team, is seriously something to admire. If this episode gave you some inspo, insight, and even just a few feel-good moments, please follow and share. It literally just takes a second, but helps us shine a light on so many amazing women doing big things in their industries and communities. And so if you're not already, be sure to check out Sammy's work on Instagram, Hair by Sammy, and trust me, you're going to be obsessed. Thanks for tuning in to the She.E.Os of the Six, where real women, real hustle, and real stories take center stage. Until next time, keep glowing and growing.